More than 200 years ago, Benjamin Franklin wrote, "For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For the want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For the want of a horse, the rider was lost. For the want of a rider, the battle was lost. For the want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail." Soldiers don't ride horses into battle anymore, but the basic message remains the same. Little things can greatly matter in the world of project management because things left undone have a way of growing into larger problems that have the potential for catastrophic results. That's why the final phase in the project life cycle, closing a project, is so important. Variability leads to inefficiency and mistakes in managing a project, and it's no friend to closing a project efficiently either. Closing a project might not be the most exciting part of the project life cycle, but this is why using standard procedures to close a project is critical. By its nature, project closeout is chaotic and stressful. It represents a time of change for the project manager and all members of a project team. To ensure that nothing is overlooked in the rush to close out, it's wise to employ the assistance of a project management office to provide unbiased, experienced support to ensure completion of documentation, completion of any remaining project work, and maintenance and storage of required records. Once the final deliverables have been completed and formally signed off on by the sponsor, the project manager must ensure that all outstanding work has been completed from all other phases of the project. He or she must do this according to the project objectives, as defined in the project management plan. Administrative closeout requires the project manager to ensure products, services, or results are officially transferred to the project sponsor or operations. As part of this effort, the project manager also needs to identify and write down the successes, failures, root causes, and lessons learned during project executions to the organizational process asset. Looking at lessons learned will help focus on the right things for a project and where it could have been improved. If brainstorming was used during the planning phase, was it effective? If so, why? What made it effective? If not, why was it ineffective? This is necessary to help subsequent project managers take precautions to avoid pitfalls and implement successful practices in the future. Project managers should also archive, scope, cost and schedule baseline, risk register, subsidiary plans, and performance metrics for the project. Only by impartially reviewing each phase of the project, from initiating and planning through executing, monitoring, and controlling, can the project manager and the project team determine why certain choices and methods were chosen and how well they performed. Each project is different in some ways, but the similarities to other projects are far more numerous. Using a lessons learned template for each project will ensure consistency in the closeout process, and also make sure that no sensitive or seemingly inconsequential question or impact is ignored. Even the lessons learned meeting should be structured and conducted consistently. The purpose of this meeting is to include different points of view and to validate that all critical lessons learned have been identified and included in the final report. All project stakeholders invited to this meeting will be asked to identify 3 to 5 things that worked successfully in the project and 3 to 5 things that could have been improved. The meeting should be facilitated by someone not associated with the project, like a member of the project management office, to guarantee that all points of view are captured. The purpose of this effort is to close the project's procurement activities. The project management plan will contain procurement documentation and tools, like records management systems and procurement audits, that can shed light on what worked well and what could be improved in future projects. If any disputes are uncovered with contractors, final negotiated settlements must be completed. This ensures that everything related to the procurement process and its documentation has been completed and is ready for inclusion, with organizational process assets. The primary output is written documentation from the buyer to the seller that states the contract has been completed. Ben Franklin would agree that nailing down each part of the project closing process is crucial to ensure that seemingly small problems aren't overlooked and don't develop into much larger issues down the road. Following standard procedures to close a project is the last crucial phase of each project. By its nature, closeout is chaotic and stressful. It represents a time of change for the project manager and all members of the project team. A project management office can provide unbiased, experienced support to ensure completion of documentation, completion of any remaining project work, and maintenance and storage of required records.